let's talk about the things we ought to have. And I think the things ought to be, let's strip this thing down to its basics. If you got insurance, most folks in here got insurance, you're paying for it. It ought to work harder for you. Right now, the insurance you're paying for works more for the insurance company than it works for you. And the things we ought to do that will make our insurance work more for us than we're getting right now. When I'm talking for you about that, I mean pass some rules, one way or another, that says you can't discriminate against folks on the basis of pre-existing conditions. If you get sick, you can't raise the premiums on you. That's like raising premiums on your house. After your house burns down, you make a claim on the policy. If you get real sick, you can't kick folks off the policy altogether. You can't charge little groups more for the same product per capita than you charge in big groups per capita. I bet there are a lot of little groups represented here who know that if you go into the insurance marketplace, you're paying more for the same benefits package per person than any big business does. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world, but it is wrong for the insurance industry to charge little guys, small groups of people, more for the same meal than they are charging big guys. That's just wrong. Georgia Power can't get away with that. Neither should the health insurance industry, but they do. They got a license to do that. We're going to change that. So if you got insurance, I'll make it work hard for you. If you haven't got insurance, you've got to help folks get it. And I don't mean free lunches. I think make folks pay what they can afford to pay, but help folks who need a help. And guess what? We are already doing. The last thing we need to do is we need to get costs under control. And about costs, I mean all things we'll be talking about. There are things that are making the cost of health care more expensive than it has to be. We ought to address that. I've already talked about some of the things that are going to make insurance cost more than it has to cost. You add those two together, that's why health expenses as a group are going up so much. The House bill that I voted against in committee did, on balance and in fairness, I think did a pretty fair job of covering people who are uncovered. Now, I think it did that in a way that was more expensive and more burdensome than was necessary. So I didn't like that. But, taking what it did a pretty fair job of covering people who are uncovered. It did a lousy job of regulating the insurance company, making them do right. And it did very little at all, nothing at all, on cost containment, trying to figure out how to solve the problem of us doing more procedures than are necessary. It did a very poor job of that. So that's the reason why I voted against it. It did about 1.5 of the 3 things I think we need to do.
When they say that they're going to cut Medicaid and Medicare reimbursements, make the money to pay for this thing, what is going to happen to our hospital that can hardly make it as it is?
Well, you're raising a very important issue, but I want to put your mind at ease about what I think folks are talking about and make sure you know what I'm talking about. I absolutely oppose any effort to cut Medicare benefits. In fact, one of the problems, one of the reasons why we have overutilization, doctors do 5 procedures instead of 3, or 3 instead of 1, is because Medicare does not fully reimburse doctors for the full cost of the services that are required. And what you do when you do that is you subtly incentivize doctors to try and make up in volume what they're not getting on a per-service basis. And if you force folks to do that, it's not going to be any surprise you're going to get there. So Medicare does not do a good enough job of reimbursing doctors and hospitals, the healthcare providers. None of the bills that have been proposed so far propose to cut benefits that are covered. And actually, the legislation that I support would actually increase the amount we're paying the healthcare providers. It's 2 areas where there is room for improvement. What we're paying for Medicare Advantage is higher than we're paying for regular Medicare. That's wrong and unfair to the regular Medicare people, because 4 out of 5 people on regular Medicare are subsidizing indirectly what folks are getting on Medicare Advantage. I believe and support the idea of the flexibility and benefits that you get on Medicare Advantage, but we shouldn't have to pay more for that. Folks should have the flexibility to choose, but they should be able to choose something that's more costly and expect others to pick up the tab for that. So Medicare Advantage is a serious problem, and bringing those in line so that you have the flexibility in the Advantage plans to offer what you want, but those folks aren't making off with a more costly benefit package than the rest of us are getting.